Welcome to the Bliss Out Queen podcast for the spiritually curious who are committed to revolutionizing their life and the world. Through this podcast, you will learn how to evolve your life and intentionally create from a grounded and soul-aligned place. I call this the Bliss Timeline, a reality where you are living in a flow state, abundant and balanced with your heart, soul, and natural rhythms. What I share will come from my own discoveries while exploring this timeline and learning how to develop it. If this sparks excitement in you, I encourage you to follow the podcast, share with a friend, and go on your own exploration of your bliss timeline. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm going to be sharing about something really simple that is at the same time so foundational for how to navigate life and how to be alive. And the thing that's helped me to navigate something where I've been getting a lot of head fog, and it's breath. Breathing. And it's really an important part of cultivating bliss because it's such a key, important mindfulness tool for being in your body and present in the moment. There's so much you can learn about life with your breath too. I've had some aha moments that came from my breath and feeling it expand in my body and that sensation of filling up. And I had a really cool mindset, like perspective shift recently from someone else that I was listening to. And it was practicing to breathe in and experience the receiving of the air. And it's like a way that you can experience being present with the sensation of communion with spirit, with communion with something subtle, and in communion with something like love. Like you can breathe in the sensation of love. You can breathe in the sensation of wholeness. You can breathe in the sensation and feel peace. You can breathe in and feel that sensation of fullness too. And it really is, it's also so helpful. Like there's moments that there was this one experience I had recently. I was finally feeling present with my body, the sensations around me, and the magic of the moment. Like I was having just like a really magical feeling in my body and experience and aha experience, which I wanted to have linger and last. And like when you have that magic like sparks and you just want it to continue. And then I was looking at the moon and it was full. And I had just moved through some dense feelings after a walk. And I was looking at it and I was like feeling the desire, the want to like hold on to the moment, but knowing that that's impossible. You can't have the sensation, the same one, over and over again. You can only have a new experience. Maybe it can be new in a similar way, but you can't actually recreate anything. And surrendering to that, I was able to do it by utilizing my breath. And I think this is a fundamental tool to apply to so many other things in your life. Like when we're able to let go of the breath too and know that the next moment will be completely different, and maybe not as like high, or maybe not as like, buzzing, but it's still special, and it still has the potential to be in flow and in magic and in communion with your spirit and your presence and all of that juiciness that I was feeling. And so this can be applied, this like skill of breathing in a new moment and allowing that to be its own thing, its own experience, is similar to things like when you're entering or exiting relationships, or when you're moving into a new job, or you're in a different phase of your life. You're like changing and evolving, and I'm so grateful that now I've like really let go of the phase of my life that I really reminisced on, and almost like not idolized, but like I wished I could replay it from when I first moved to New York City, because it was so like magic. And looking back, I'm so glad I am where I am now, because I also was like super out of balance with myself, and just there was a lot of things I was learning and really giving my power away to other things outside of me. And that was just like where I was at and what I was learning about. But I also had a really magical time. And so, so practicing breathing in and letting go can help you to do the same thing with anything that you're wanting to hold on to. But the truth is that nothing is going to be the same ever. And I also have this fun imagery for this too. That's like, I was flashing a red light beam for my cat, who loves this flashlight, the one that's made for cats. And she like sits in the living room and kind of looks at me and like has almost like an addiction for it. And I think it's the serotonin that it releases, or dopamine, or whatever chemical that makes you all like buzzing. And so she's sitting there looking at me, and then I like, wave around the red light, and she gets all excited. She runs after it here and there. And then pretty soon after, she kind of like pauses and gets tired, and she wants it, but she's kind of done with it. But then the other thing I noticed was that it's almost like she's trying to chase a mouse, something physical, but it's not. It's a light, and she can never actually capture the light. And she can only play with it and run around. But that excitement, even the excitement of it, was fleeting, because then she kind of got over it. And the same thing I imagine for if she were to catch a mouse. Like once she catches it, she's like, okay, it's done. Like the hunt, But that you can't actually have the thing. She can't actually have the light itself to claim or to like capture. And that's just like everything in life. We can't actually have another person or capture them or hold them. And each moment is fleeting. So breathing in that truth is really helpful for me when I'm like hemming and hawing about wishing I was experiencing something that I had from the past that was, I remember being really feeling good, instead of being present with what's available in the current state and the current reality I'm in. And what is the treasure here? It looks different. So maybe my brain is thinking, okay, it's not going to feel the same, but actually it could. And gratitude is a great way to like feel into, get back into that energy of like appreciating and feeling fullness from the moment and the magic that exists all the time. It's like that flow. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but this is definitely where I find my most bliss, is like when I'm in flow. And that happens when I am in a beautiful balance between surrendering with my feminine and then also balancing with my masculine. And it's still something I'm figuring out, how to do both at the same time, how to have structure and like movement, like synchronistic movement with my spirit, with the divine timing of life, with the magic that is unfolding right in front of me, and like what is being gifted to me. I can't create that on my own. I can only, well, actually, I guess I am creating it in some way because I'm open to it and I believe it's possible. But it's not something that I can actually physically control to have happen. I just have to sit back and experience it. The breath has been really helpful for me also because since 2020, at the end of that year, I really started to experience head fog in a way that was like just frustrating. I was really out of my body. I couldn't feel present. It was just like buzzing in my head all the time. It felt very like inflated. And I experienced this for most of 2021 into 2021, like just like the last few years. It's been a very present experience for me. And no matter, even when I left New York City, I still felt it when I was in Costa Rica. But recently, I've been learning tools that are actually really helping me stay in my body, because I was starting to feel the head fog again, and I hadn't in a while. And what it was breathing in through my belly and through almost like my sacral and root chakra area, and feeling this energy move through that breath into my heart, from my root into my heart. So instead of breathing in from my head down, I was feeling like this breath, like kind of like my power and recentering and grounding, but in a completely different way. And then also that sensation at different times has felt this sexual energy too, that I felt moving through that, right below the belly button area, like between the hip bones when you breathe in there, and having that energy move up my spine into my heart. It felt like I was like awakening myself, and I had like this rebirth of energy and this refreshment of connection to this, like what people call life force. And like kind of like, oh my God, the next day after I had this experience, I could see things clearer. Like my vision was clearer. It was really wild. And breathing has helped me to feel more in my body and connected with like what's happening, and gratitude for literally this moment I'm in right now. There's nothing else except for this moment. Nothing else exists. That always helps me to come back to presence, and knowing that like no matter how much I think about something, no matter how much I worry about it or plan it, like it's not happening right now. And I actually don't have control over the outcome. But I do have the capacity to be present in this moment, knowing that right now I am safe. And right now I feel held and I feel very taken care of. I still have some like anxiety in my heart about when that may change, or like if challenge may arise with the current circumstances that are supporting me. But yeah, I'm working on the belief that I am taken care of beyond where I'm at right now, and even more than what I've been experiencing. And through my own channel of source creation and connecting to that, letting myself be my own source of prosperity and the money that is there to support my desires and my life and my well-being. And yeah, so that's what I'm navigating too. Yeah, so breath, I started this podcast thinking, okay, this is like going to be 2 seconds of me being like, okay, breathe. And then that's it. But there's so much you can talk about and learn about when you connect to your breath. And there's even more I feel I could talk about. Because breath is like the essence of life. It's essential. It's like, are you breathing? Okay, you're alive. It's like the dot. It's like the starting point of a ripple. It's like that center piece, like that center circle where there's then waves rippling out. It's like your first breath of air when you were born, similar to your heartbeat. Actually, the original first like dot, I don't know how else to explain it, but like an image of a dot of existence. Like it's like the purest form of existence for us is the heartbeat and the breath. And then they finally connect once you exit the womb and you're in Earth and you're on the planet officially. And this breath, it can always be the thing that brings you back to your body, and like this feeling connected to a greater knowing that this is so much more than almost like a hamster wheel that we can easily find ourselves in, of panic or challenge or like not fairness. When come back to your breath and you feel like your godliness with that breath. It feels powerful. It's a power that helps me to move around any sensation that comes up where I feel disempowered, or I feel maybe like something outside of me has control over me, in the sense that it has control over my emotions or my like capacity to create my life, my abundance, like that feeling of oppression. I come back to my breath to help me feel the truth of my existence, which is I'm a sovereign being. And I have the capacity to create my life simply by the focus of my attention, the beliefs, my subconscious, and especially connecting to my breath. And the breath is so grounding too. And like that's the thing that helps me the most when I'm feeling all of a sudden like panic or anxiety, or like almost like I'm caged and I don't have, like someone's got, that's survival feeling, scarcity feeling of like limited resources. The breath helps me to recenter and remember that I'm always taken care of. And maybe I don't know how it's going to happen, but it is going to happen, and maybe not in the way that I feel like it needs to, for me to feel like I have control. But yeah, we don't really have control. The last thing I wanted to share about with the breath, so this is, it's funny how I thought it was going to be like 2 minutes of me talking. What's so cool about the breath is that we breathe in oxygen, and that oxygen comes from like plants. And I was like, I need to look this up to see what else produces oxygen for us to breathe. I'm sure there's other things, I don't know. But when it comes to developing your relationship with nature and your environment of the trees that are like live right in your backyard, or on your walk to your bus stop, or your, wherever, whatever places you tend to move through that have any sense of like any sort of plant life or animal life, like those can become your friends and your neighbors. They're like you're passing them all the time. You can develop a relationship with those trees that you walk by all the time, simply just by like bringing attention to them and being like awareness of their existence. It can start as simple as that. But the other thing that's really cool to practice or feel into is how we're actually in an exchange with plants. Like, if you were to be with someone and you exchange air, it's like we're doing that. We're actually in this harmonious flow of inhale, exhale with the earth and the nature, and just the fact that we receive oxygen that gets produced by the trees or whatever plants you're around, and then we give the carbon dioxide. Okay, last step, I'm pretty sure, is that they use that themselves. My science. But, you get the idea. We, at least the part that I know for sure, is that we breathe in the oxygen that they emit. Isn't that beautiful? Like, we're in this very, what's the word? Union. That's the word. There's this like union between us through our breath. And it's something you can remember next time that you're sitting in your backyard or like in a park and you have your eyes closed, or you're laying down and you're like breathing in. It's like, see how you're breathing in a connection through the oxygen to the nature you're around. And check out how that feels. Like, let that feeling fill you up. And it's pretty fun. It's my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite sensation, is to feel this like balance and peace with connecting to the earth and the rhythms of the earth. And when I'm connected to the rhythms of the earth, which oftentimes happens through the thoughtfulness around my breath, is then like all of a sudden I become aware of everything around me and all the little bugs and the critters, and they start to come into my space more because they feel more at peace around me. They feel safe and they feel more resonance with me to come into my vicinity where I am. And all of a sudden I'm watching this magic of life all around me. Like even just the little bug that's flying in the air, and then behind that is a bird that's like hopping around. Like we're living in a real life zoo. Sometimes I think about that. And it's really fascinating and so like enriching to my life and my experience, at least, and I'm sure to many others, to be able to experience that. And that's from that place, I usually start to like hear and connect with nature and communicate with it. That would be for a different episode. It's almost like a dance. That's another word for it. It's like when you're flowing perfectly with someone and the movements just like are synchronistic. I don't know if that's the right word, but they move harmoniously together. That's what it feels like when I'm with my breath and at the pace and the rhythm of nature and the earth through the breath. And the last thing I'll suggest is to practice breathing into your belly. And I know it can be really challenging depending on the way you're sitting, depending on all sorts of things. It still can be something I feel frustrated by, but even just the intention of it, like bringing awareness to your belly. And for me, it's really more of like between my hips, where I feel like really good to breathe there. It also helps me to feel less tension in my neck and my jaw, because it originates usually from tightening around the hips. So practice breathing through, your root, and breathing in and out of your belly. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast today about breath, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that was a lovely episode for you and you gained some sort of wisdom or aha moment or activation for your own journey and life. And if you'd like to connect further, you can go to my website, erikajulia.com. It's ErikaJulia. And there you'll find also a blog where I share a lot of writings on similar topics. And also, if you feel really inspired by this episode, please leave a review and share it with a friend. And those two things would really help this podcast get to more people and more hearts and more ears, more minds, more bodies. So that would be really helpful. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here.